Yeah, there we go. So apparently I get to follow John, which is fantastic. But I am here. Thank you, Kelsey, by the way, for that. Oh, there I am, for that intro. I'm here to share my story because despite having a solo podcast, actually it's not something I really like to talk about. It's not my favorite topic in the world. But I believe that each of our stories matters so much. And some of you, I think, are here today in a position similar to the one I was at a conference a few years ago for dreamers and builders. I think that when we're little, I have a little picture that's, I don't know. When we're little, we dream of changing the world. We maybe have mad basketball skills, which clearly was not my goal in life, but maybe it's our career. We want to be a doctor or a firefighter, something that's heroic or important. Whatever we're going to do, we know that we can change the world. Walt Disney said, the trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. And what happened to us then? That we're here and not doing something important. I know some of you here go to a job that's different than the career you planned for yourself, or maybe it's the exact thing you wanted to be doing, but you feel like there's more. Or maybe like me, you're a stay-at-home parent, and though you love what you do, it's difficult sometimes because the results are anything but instantaneous, and sometimes they're disastrous. And you also feel like there's more that you could be doing. I have a fantastically embarrassing picture of myself in the 1980s, rocking all the awkward. There's a little Rockward hashtag just for Melissa. And from the time I was smaller than this, I knew that I was going to be a dancer and a musician, and I was going to be famous. That was my goal. That was what I was going to do. I was going to be famous, and I spent my whole life kind of working toward that. And despite the fact that I sing now in front of a lot of people every week, that's not my career. It's appropriate to tell this story in Nashville because I spent maybe a year or so making a few bucks in bars and local venues, and that didn't really go anywhere. So I kind of retired from that, and it was that summer 2 years ago that I responded to this mysterious tweet from one John Acuff that some of you remember very well. And I found myself in this whirlwind of forward motion. There were all these people. I read a book, and I went to a conference, and I was hanging out online with all these people that had goals and direction and hustle. And I totally felt like I didn't belong because I had none of those things. I had no idea why I was there. So I asked John in a Twitter chat before, I said, I kind of quit the music thing. I don't have a business I want to launch. Should I really go to this conference that was happening at the time? And his response to me was simple, but changed everything for me. He said, you don't have to make it big, you just have to make it matter. And that hit me like a ton of bricks then and has stuck with me since. It means that we can change our world every day right where we are, whether it's with our kids or coworkers, your boss, the lady at Target that's checking you out, not checking you out, but checking out what you're purchasing. We can make a difference right there. So I know some of you are probably saying, but I'm just, and I hate that word just, but I only have 7 minutes, I can't rant about that. So I'm just a stay-at-home parent, or I already have this business that I'm doing, or I'm already a busy fill in the blank. You have reasons that you can't do what's on your heart. I believe for me the most important thing that I'm doing right now with my life is in how I raise my kids. I'm humbled and grateful to do that, but I feel like there's more. And I know sometimes we feel guilty for feeling like we are made to do more. So I think that while we're here, we all need permission to dream, and especially if you're here and you don't have your business plan, you don't know exactly why you're here. The world needs your story and every bit of it, not just the part that says I'm Bob in accounting, not, Clay Shaver, there you go. We're all multifaceted. We have all these things that we can do, so it's fitting that your story is not just a single arc. You're not defined by one role. So if you're here and you don't know why you're here, that's fair. I want you to think about what brings you joy, what bothers you about the world, what kinds of things, what issues fire you up, what are your life experiences. Each of these things is a part of your story and is what makes it impactful. I think most of us are here because we know the benefit of community, and it's changed our lives sometimes. And we can get accountability and encouragement and practical things like crowdsourcing But the biggest impact for many of us is that me too. The idea that, and we talked about this in another group recently, that being vulnerable, sharing your story, gives others the beautiful gift of going second, as John put it once. And for those of you without a dream, I've been there. Many of us have been there. I have 3 quick action steps because I'm running out of time already. If you feel like you're wandering a little bit. So first, write down your roles. Write down what you do, what you're responsible for. And take a look and see if you should be responsible for those things. This isn't about shirking personal responsibility or pushing things off on other people, but finding out what we need to say no to, even some really good things, in order to say yes to the right things. Second, what does your ideal week look like? If everything in the next week went perfect, every second of every day, which will never happen, especially if you have kids, what would it look like? This helps us prioritize what we would do if time was not an obstacle. And third, write down your goals. As Eller and Murr say, if you just have, until you have a bucket list that you've written down, you just have bucket thoughts. And if you don't write down your dreams somewhere that you will see them all the time, I just don't think many of them will happen. And I'm usually pretty optimistic, but write them somewhere that you're going to see them all the time, whether it's John's calendar, Corey's gorgeous planners, Evernote if you're not a paper planner person. Make it impossible to forget about your dreams. So maybe you're here to learn how to launch. Maybe you have something in the marketplace and you know that your story matters. You've already successfully launched. Or maybe you have no idea why you're here. You have the urge to do something specific, but you are afraid, or you feel guilty for thinking you were created for more. Somebody here will become famous. People will hit the New York Times bestseller list. Someone will take something to a community that needs their life-sustaining invention or business, and maybe that's not going to be you. Maybe your dream feels smaller than that, but wherever you are, if you want your art or your words to make a difference in someone's life, you're helping with homework and getting groceries and doing something that doesn't feel big, you don't have to make it big. Every moment, every opportunity you have to make a decision, you just have to make it matter. Thanks so much. I cannot wait to see where you go when you give yourself permission to dream. Another time.